what's up guys? Joker here. Today I wanted to talk about some really alarming news about Batman Arkham Knight and the whole PC port fiasco that they've been dealing with ever since it released about a week ago. And also, please stay tuned towards the end of the video as I have a quick little announcement that I want to make for you guys, so please be sure to stay tuned and check that out. Okay, so everyone knows by now that the PC port was pretty dreadful for Batman Arkham Knight as it came out about a week ago. If you guys saw, I did a performance review on the game and showed you the kind of performance that I was seeing with single card versus SLI and how the game was actually getting less frames with a single card. Beyond that, for pretty much all gamers out there, whether you were AMD or NVIDIA or using an Intel processor or an AMD processor, didn't matter. Everyone's having a bad experience with Batman Arkham Knight. Some people are saying it's not that bad. They'll put up with it, because they're willing to play it like 30, 40 FPS. For me personally, I don't play at that frame rate. I know some people gave me some feedback because of the last video where I said I don't play games that are 40 to 60 FPS, and that's true. I just don't. There's no reason for you to get mad or argumentative about it. It's just that's just the way I choose to play my games. I've been playing games at 144 Hz for 2 years, so trying to play a game at 40 to 60 FPS is just really hard for me to get over. So even with the frame rate cap removed off the game, which is set at 30 FPS, and you have to go into the .ini to try and fix that, which even Warner Brothers in their releases, their press releases have even said, please don't do that. But now they've acknowledged that they're actually working on it, and in a future update for the game, the bigger update that we're all waiting for, they're actually going to be removing the frame rate cap and have, have multiple options for various frame rates. So far since the game was released, we have received one small patch that addressed a few bugs that were happening with the game and added in a few additional rain effects. Besides that, we are actually really waiting for the big patch, which is going to address the really serious issues going on with the game, like the 30 FPS cap, multi-GPU performance, big time frame drops, and just low FPS for everyone across the board. So that's really the big patch that we're waiting for so that the game can come back out on Steam and other platforms, because right now it's not available for sale. They pulled it off of, store shelves, so to speak, or the Steam, digital store. They pulled it off of there just a couple of days, or even the day after, maybe when it came out. I think it was the day after, maybe 2 days later. The game was pulled off of Steam. Mostly in part because so many people were asking for refunds. And that's one of the great things that actually came out of all of this, because Steam refunds are a fairly new thing. And, now that we can do that, gamers are actually starting to have a voice or some way to fight back against these big AAA developers that are putting out these games in such shoddy states at the time that they're released. In the past, gamers really had no recourse that they could, go to if a game came out and was really buggy or just, absolutely unplayable. Like I consider Arkham Knight to be right now. I consider it to be unplayable in the state that it's in. And if I had bought the game, I actually would have asked for a refund. I got the game free with my 980 Ti's. So that it is what it is. I can't get a refund on it, but I still kind of feel like I was gypped in some way. I feel like I was gypped by NVIDIA for getting this game that they worked with them on. They worked with them to put out their GameWorks effects into the game. They had trailers releasing up before launch that were running at 60 FPS, showing off all the NVIDIA features, and the game comes out and it's capped at 30 FPS. Are you telling me that NVIDIA didn't know this ahead of time? They had to, because according to this article on Kotaku, the issues that have been present in the PC game at launch have actually been around for over a year. This is coming from quality assurance testers that spoke with Kotaku, didn't give their real names, so it's, it's up to you how you want to, perceive this, if you want to believe what's going on here. But I will have a link to this article down in the description, so if you want to go read it, you can do that. But it's a pretty compelling case made by Kotaku. It doesn't seem like, this is false information in any way, at least in my opinion. But let me know down in the comments below what you think about this. But according to them, they have been having trouble with the PC port of the game over the past year or even longer, just trying to get it up to scratch in terms of performance. Because the team that actually worked on the port was Iron Galaxy, not Rocksteady. I know in my last video I was saying Rocksteady, and that was mostly in part because I really still do hold them accountable for this, because they are the lead developer. Even though Iron Galaxy handled the port, I still consider Rocksteady and Warner Brothers, all three to, equally, have a role in this. And according to this article now, it seems even more likely because Warner Brothers apparently knew about all of these issues leading right up until launch, and they chose to release it anyway because they thought that it was good enough. It was not good enough, Warner Brothers, and because of what we have Steam refunds now, we could finally fight back and get shit games like this canned and pulled off of the shelf. In the past, they had issues with Mortal Kombat X. So many people were pissed off about that game. Did they pull it from store shelves? No. Why? Because there was no Steam refunds at the time. You can bet your ass if there were Steam refunds that game would have been pulled along with many other games in the past. Assassin's Creed Unity. I mean, this is Steam refunds now we can see are really going to be changing the way that consumers can interact with developers after a game is released and, have our voices heard in a way so that this kind of shit doesn't repeatedly happen. The gaming industry as a whole, I feel, especially on the PC, performance in games has just been getting worse and worse and releasing in buggier and buggier states. In the past, that was not the case, 4 or 5 years ago or maybe a little bit longer than that when patches, were kind of a hard thing to get. I remember back when Half-Life 2 came out, that was kind of like when Steam first came about, so that they could actually patch the game. People want to forget, because Half-Life 2 is such a memorable title, one of the greatest games ever made. But at launch, it was really, really buggy. And people had to get Steam mostly just to authenticate their game key and also to be able to quickly get patches that were being released by Valve. So, ever since we've really had this type of online patching system, it just has slowly getting worse and worse. And over the past few years, especially since next-gen consoles have come out, this problem has just exceedingly getting worse. And now it's great that we finally do have a way to fight back and get our refunds on these games. So another thing that was mentioned by these quality assurance testers that tested Batman Arkham Knight before it was released for Warner Brothers and Rocksteady was that about Iron Galaxy basically being what they call a port house, or one of many port houses that are basically out there. They're basically smaller studios, maybe looking to break into the industry, looking to sort of collect money so that they can go ahead and make their own games. And that seems to be the case with Iron Galaxy, as they sort of overpromised and underbid to get the contract to be able to work on Batman Arkham Knight so that they can make some money, maybe get their street credibility up out there in the industry. This studio has been known for doing ports in the past, mostly for PS4 to Xbox, PS4 to PS3, and Xbox One to Xbox 360, taking games for the newer consoles and making them work on the older consoles. And now that they're breaking in and doing pretty much their first PC game here with Batman Arkham Knight, and not only that, but, they claimed that they had only had 6 weeks to do it, which doesn't really appear to be the case any longer if these problems have been around for over a year on the PC. And this was a lot of the reasons why the game was pushed back and delayed so long, is because they couldn't get the performance to work as well even on the consoles, because they felt like they were really pushing the boundaries of the performance on the systems for the graphical effects that they wanted to have in the game. And it looks like PC basically got pushed off to the wayside as a result of this, and then Iron Galaxy came in and they really didn't do much better of a job than Rocksteady could have probably done in that period of 6 weeks when they were trying to put their final finishing touches on the game. But that's going to wrap it up for this little discussion on Batman Arkham Knight. Please tell me what you guys think down in the comments below about this whole issue with Warner Brothers actually knowing about what was going on with Arkham Knight. And also, do you think that this is going, with the Steam refunds, as far as that is concerned, do you think that's really going to change how games are shipped now? Do you think it's going to become more commonplace to have games coming out less buggy? That's certainly what I would like to take away from this, or at the very least get some transparency from some of the developers and publishers out there before games ship to let us know if there's any issues with the game. Because I would much rather see a game get delayed another 5-6 months than get a broken pile of crap. We saw this with Witcher 3 and GTA 5, which I will argue, maybe you disagree, maybe you don't. I would argue that they had excellent launches. Both of those games were delayed. GTA 5 was pushed back multiple times, and it released in a fairly excellent playable state, and you could play that game on a wide range of hardware, all the way down to something like a 260X or an even older card, and then also getting good performance in single GPU and SLI and Crossfire. Really good performance across the board in that. And Witcher 3 also, for me anyway, for NVIDIA users, performed really great. I know there were some issues with AMD side of it, but I think for the most part those issues have been resolved, and the game is running really well, despite being one of the best games I've ever seen, graphically speaking anyway. Okay, so before we get out of here, I did want to make a quick little announcement like I mentioned earlier on in the video at the start. Basically, right now, I am trying to make a push with the channel because it's been growing faster than ever before. It's absolutely insane how fast the channel is growing, and because of that, I'm looking to acquire some upgrades to help improve the overall quality of the channel. I'm talking about getting some better softbox lights, a few lenses for my camera, and a better tripod so that I can get you better B-roll quality footage. Because in the recent videos, you know, I've been doing B-roll and it's looking pretty good, but it's really hard for me to get it to work the way that it is because there's so many little things that I'm missing, like a good tripod. My tripod is like from circa 1986. So long story short, I have a Patreon page that only has a couple of patrons on there right now, and also I do accept donations through PayPal. There's a link for that right on my main channel page. If you look up at the top where my banner is, there's a little PayPal logo, and if you want to make a donation, you can do that. Now, if you can't contribute financially, I totally understand. I would never force anyone to do that, which is why I've never talked about this stuff before on the channel. I've had the links down in the description. The link for PayPal has been up on my page, but I've never asked people in this way before because I felt bad to really even ask, but I wanted to bring it to people's attention so you at least know that it is there if you want to do that. And if you can't help financially, there is also my Amazon affiliate link down in the description below. If you take that, you can bookmark it. So every time you go to Amazon, just use the bookmark link for my affiliate code. And that way, whenever you buy something on Amazon, I get a little kickback. It doesn't cost you anything. And it helps me out so much when you guys do use that affiliate link or specific links for products when I do product reviews, and I have Amazon links down there below. So there's more ways than one that you can help the channel. You could also be sharing videos, liking, watching the entire videos. All those things just go such a long way to be able to help out the channel, and tweeting things, posting on Facebook, what have you. I understand not everyone can help monetarily with a donation, but there are other ways that you can help out as well. So I hope you guys do take the time to look at some of the ways that you can help out the channel. I'd really appreciate that so that I can get some better gear and bring you guys even better videos in the future. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. I hope you did enjoy this video. Please stick a like on it below if you did, and let me know your thoughts on everything surrounding Batman Arkham Knight and the Steam refunds. I'll catch you guys next time. Ta-ra.